is an honor to present to you the CTE Research and Development Symposium panel of expert evaluators. Our first panelist is a former adjunct professor at John Paul II Institute, Philippines. She was also an associate professor at University of St. LaSalle. She completed her master's degree in mathematics at University of the Philippines, Visayas, Iloilo, and her PhD in education major in curriculum development at West Visayas State University. She also earned her degree in adult education at University of Toronto. Currently, she is an assistant professor at the University of the Philippines, Visayas College of Arts and Sciences, Division of Professional Education. She is a curriculum review and development specialist, a continuing professional education and skill-based training developer, and an educational research consultant. Please welcome Dr. Lovelia S. Divina Gracia. Our second panelist finished her PhD in education, major in social science, as an academic excellence awardee from UP Diliman. She finished the certificate course in gender, sexuality, and reproductive health from the University of San Carlos, Cebu City on a scholarship grant from Ford Foundation, Indonesia in 2004. She was also a grantee of flagship course on academic excellence for middle managers of SUCs, a program of CHED and Development Academy of the Philippines. Presently, she is a professor in the Social Sciences Department of the College of Arts and Sciences in West Visayas State University. Our second panelist has also been a senior accreditor for accrediting agency for chartered colleges and universities in the Philippines, or ACU. She was also the former OIC director of the Office of the Student Services of the West Visayas State University. She was a program advisor of West Visayas State University College of Arts and Sciences Graduate School, MA and PhD Social Science, and a former dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, West Visayas State University. Please welcome the Dean of Student Affairs of West Visayas State University, Dr. Nancy S. Sormieda. Our third panelist is an expert in research and statistics in pedagogy and education. She was a research panelist during the International Research Forum in Manhattan, New York City. In her 51 years of academic career, she has received recognitions. To name some of those is the Filipino International Teaching Service Award, Outstanding Alumni and Service Excellence Citation. Our third panelist is a former nursing instructor at New York City Department of Education. She was also a Professor 6 in Aklan State University Banga campus and was a research leader in both biological and social science researches. Help me in welcoming the Research and Creative Works Director of Aklan Catholic College, Dr. Rizelda C. Quintana. Let's all give a virtual applause to our panel of evaluators.
Once again, thank you for listening to the research presentation. Have a good day. Dito nasusuka.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful presentation, Rafael.
Welcome, sir.
It's a symposium and yet so millennial. And we love the music that you use. We love the presentation, and congratulations for all the efforts that you put into this work.
My pleasure, sir.
Okay, but we're not done with you, Sir Rafael. Okay, here are the judges. So may we call on Ma'am Janine, the moderator, for the question and answer session of this event. Ma'am Janine.
Thank you, Sir John. At this point, let's have our panel of evaluators to give their comments or ask questions to Sir Rafael. Let's start with Dr. Lovelia Divina Gracia. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Congratulations, first of all, Rafael. You did really very good, no, in your paper, and also listening to the outcome that you mentioned. It was already presented, and you have won, no, not only one, but maybe more than that. No? But the aside from that, but of course, the prestige that you brought to your school, no, bringing that award back home. Um, I just would like to ask some clarifications because, of course, given a very a brief, no, paper, abstract. May I know if how did you manage to come up with the instrument, the evaluation instrument that you prepared, so that your module can be evaluated in terms of acceptability?
Yes, Doc Lavella. It's nice to meet you again in this symposium. Doc Lavella is actually our speaker in one of my PhD classes and seminar and dissertation. Doc, to answer your question, well, the LMEF, or the Learner's Material Evaluation Forms, were actually patterned from Dr. Amelia Navejas, one of my panelists, research for the print materials. Then it was validated by a panel of experts for content and validity. And then the LMEF for the video-based modules were actually patterned from the LRMDS non-print learners materials evaluation form as well. So this one was also adapted, and I also asked permission so that it can be used in my study. So, after pilot testing and for the validity of those materials, or LMEF, then I actually conducted it to my panel of experts. The teacher's guide were evaluated by the teachers alone, or the experts, while the learner's material and the video-based modules were evaluated by both the students and the experts.
Okay. Follow-up question, because my concern is about the constructs, no, of acceptability, and how did you were you able to come at a point where you really tried to see, no, whether that acceptability, no, the very constructs of the, or the measure of the evaluation tool really is aligned as well to the least learned competencies, no, because of course we try to design instruction in such a way that it has supposedly, no, to address the problem or the issue or whatever gaps, no, in our classroom or in the learning of the students. So may I know if somehow, how did you manage, or do you have any evidence to tell us that, there is alignment based on its acceptability, although I have adapted it, made some modifications, and just to ensure that it's really acceptable? In what way, somehow, or any evidence that you can give us so that we would know that somehow the evaluation tool somehow is also addressing the problem that you have presented?
Yes, Doc. Well, actually, aside from those tools that I utilize, the LMEFs, I also added FGD protocols with selected students and teachers to evaluate their pre-evaluation of the learner's material. Why did they provide those acceptability levels for the prototype? So, and then afterwards, then I asked them, and it was part of my manuscript. It was delineated there, the reasons why they provided this one, and then it was then addressed during the ADDIE method. And during the evaluation phase, I created the revised version and have them evaluated it. So I actually did not compare the results of the prototype and the revised, but it's actually far better. I mean, the revised version is far better when it comes to acceptance compared to the prototype. And I believe that part of the evaluation form, it includes there about science and its competencies, as well as experiential learning, whether those activities were really acceptable or not.
Okay. So I think that's all on my part, Rafael. Thank you for answering the questions.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Now let's proceed to Doc Nancy. Ma'am Nancy.
Good morning. Good morning, members of the panel, and good morning to Rafael.
Good morning, Doc.
You made a good job in coming up with an IM in the form of module, which is glocalized, experiential, and infused with glocalized experiential learning. Okay, infused resource package.
Resource package.
So I would like to know, comparing with the traditional or conventional method used by teachers teaching the same subject in earth and life science, what is the nature of this localized experiential learning infused learning package you develop?
Okay, thank you, Doc. That's a very nice question. Well, to highlight the features of my learn of the resource package, it's actually a suite, so a package in itself. So the study itself, I mean the materials that were created, were focused on the major concept, the most difficult concepts in Earth and life science, the bioenergetic, and then well, the materials were created were one for teachers, that's a teacher's guide. Second, learner's material, that's for children, for the students. And the third one, video-based module, the teachers can use this as a complementary or supplementary or for independent learning of students as well. So as a package, all of them are complementary in nature, meaning that they support one another. One is for on how the teacher will teach the subject itself. Second is how the student can study it independently using the experimentations. And the third one will be their guide for those visual and auditory learners who don't want to read the materials itself. Now, the main feature is glocalization itself. I utilize materials that are available for experimentations and words that are common for the students. Especially, I used code switching when discussing it on the video. So that I can relate to the students. Now, the globalization part of that localization is the fact that there are subtitles at the bottom in English so that people from all over the world can easily understand it, or they can also redub the material in English so that it can be applied to other people. Now, contextualization per se is the use of localized materials there in the environment during my experimentations. For example, instead of using leaves that are commonly found in other countries, I utilized Mayana in one of my modules. Instead of using beakers, I advise them that they can use glass. So these are readily available. They can do the experimentations on their own at home. So, well, science per se is a subject that is focused on experiences. You will be able to relate and understand science if you can relate it to your daily experiences. And that is the focus of my modules.
Okay, and I will strongly recommend that after developing a very impressive learning package, the next phase or stage you have to do is to determine the effectiveness of the learning package you develop. Because as what we have observed as teachers, the package itself is good, it's nice, impressive, well made. But the question again is utilization.
Exactly.
Does it increase or improve students' performance in earth and life science? For us to say that your package is really well made, is really is to test its effectiveness. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And of course, another suggestion. Since you are using video, you have to see to it that the video is clear, no glitches.
Yes.
So what will happen if I have seen in your previous slides, it's so small, it's blurred. Okay, so you also you make use or utilize the principles in instructional materials development in coming up with instructional materials, It has to be clear, it has to be brief, concise, simple, easily understood. Okay. And of course, the most important is to test its effectiveness.
Exactly. Well, to answer those suggestions, Doc, about the effectiveness of these materials, I actually able to create the second phase of this research, wherein my research got accepted in the Basic Education Research Fund of the Department of Education to test the effectiveness of my resource package. It was already done last year as well, and the effectiveness for the performance is quite amazing. I actually tested for the experiential learning level and connected it with their performance in bioenergetics, and they actually drive with each other. So my theory that with an enhanced experiential learning, knowledge acquisition will also be enhanced was actually correct. In regard to the second one about the video earlier, I think on my end it's actually quite clear. Maybe it's because of the internet connection. Sometimes Zoom is actually affecting the blurriness or the clearness of the video presentation. Thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. You have to take into consideration connectivity issues, especially in the province of Aklan. No? So I think
Exactly.
you also have to strong consider. CHED memorandum order specifies that there must be an offline and online mode. Huh? So in the absence of of connectivity, when
Correct.
there are
So there's
brownouts,
also
no?
an
What will
offline
happen?
version
There
of.
must be an option to that. Hmm?
Yes, it's actually in an offline version, Doc. I actually put it in a CD, and it's for the teacher and students to utilize. Thank you.
In case of brownouts. Thank you very
Correct.
much.
Thank you, Doc, as
Thank
well.
you very much, Doc Nancy. Now, let's proceed to Dr. Quintana. Dr. Quintana, nakamute po.
Hello,
Dr.
Doc
Quintana, nakamute
Quintana.
po ikaw.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Okay. Number one, I want to commend the researcher for coming up with this material. I'm a fan and a user of experiential learning ever since. So I do this all the time when I was teaching, especially in the graduate school. But I was looking at this is the very unique project you did. But I'll start with your objectives. I got like six, but it's all right. If it's time, then it's time. But let me bring out number one. In your analysis phase, did you ever wonder why the cell and photosynthetic reactions were least mastered, while the life processes are satisfactorily mastered? Because if you look at the process, from the cell, it should progress to life processes. But then, if I look at your results, how can they master satisfactorily the life processes when they were not able to master the cell and photosynthetic reactions? Okay, let's stop there first, and then, but then, it could happen. But I just want to ask you if you ever wondered as a researcher why this happened.
Well, I actually wondered as well why those things are happening, why life processes are actually kind of easier for them to understand compared to the cell. And actually, there were some concepts or themes that were generated on my FGD protocols with them. The mere fact that the cells are actually, or the concept of cell is utilizing unfamiliar terminologies compared to the easily understandable concepts and words or terminologies in life processes. It's actually quite easy for them to grasp it than to memorize some like words like Golgi apparatus and ribosomes, lysosomes, and so on and so forth, that they are sounding like the same and they sound like alien to them. So unlike in life processes, they will just learn about food chain or something related to those.
Okay. Okay. So I would like to see also a picture of the test results of your re-administration of the test because you re-administered it. So
Yes, exactly.
was there a big difference? Was there a slight difference, or was it just the same?
Actually, it's extremely different compared to
Okay.
their previous results in the pre-test during the effectiveness of the material itself. It's quite amazing that all of them have actually garnered a rating level of satisfactory or highly satisfactory compared to unsatisfactory or least mastered beforehand.
Okay. So, because I was looking for that. Okay. Another one is, how can you explain the big difference in the acceptability of your resource package relative to experiential learning activities between the learner's guide and the teacher's guide? Because look at this, it's 3.6 in the learner, and teacher's guide is 3.55. It's somehow, it's a bit, for me, there must be something that is that should be present in
Okay.
there. Because
Yes, Doc.
the guide is lower, meaning how can the learners understand, or how can the teachers deliver the lesson if the acceptability is lower? I would expect the other way around.
Okay. Well, the thing is that the evaluators for the teacher's guide are only teachers alone, the experts alone. On the other hand, I think the students are kind of more lenient or more courteous in providing the grades or the ratings for the learner's material. So maybe the ratings of the teachers were actually pulled by the student evaluations in the learner's material. That's what I can analyze in this one.
Yeah,
But
that could happen really, because as students, they're subordinate to the teachers, and usually when you're self-rating or you're rating your superior, you want to rate them
exactly,
higher.
because they would know that I will be checking them. But I told them that the results should be as honest as possible, and that it will be reported as a group, not as individuals.
Okay, there's another one, please. Okay, so this was brought out by another member of the panel. But then, what intervention did you offer to the technical quality of the non-print resource package?
Oh, well, good question. When it comes to the localization aspect, I actually told you earlier that for the technical quality, there are some problems with the audio on the prototype. So I redubbed them using a different platform. Before, I utilized like the movie maker version, the free one. So after which I utilized another platform, which is the Filmora, which is actually smoother when it comes to audio recording. And of course, I utilize this one, a Plantronics, so that can cancel noise outside for the audio aspect. Now, for the video, it's actually quite smooth because I utilize 1080 pp for the quality of the video.
Okay, so I just want you to be aware of that. And then the last point I want to bring out is in your recommendations. Number one, are the outgrowth of your study, because this can stand by itself without the research. Another one, these are all on recommendations. I look at it as very limiting, because you said those who have not mastered the topics should attend training. This has been our life as a teacher, training all
Exactly.
the time. But so for me, it is very limiting. So why do you, I mean, although it has been presented, but maybe for further research, think of other interventions. Mhm.
Yes, Doc. Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah. So like practice lessons, like tutorials, like um, we have many modalities right now, and then we can flip, in the classroom. So those are the things that I want to bring out. And thank you for doing such study. It's very interesting.
My pleasure, Doc. Actually, I already sent the copies to IPO for copywriting. I just don't know if it will be sent back already. Okay. And thank you, panel of judges. Those recommendations were so amazing. I am so glad to be able to relate this, to relay these research to very brilliant minds like yours, as well as to the rest of the individuals who might find the materials to be educational for them. And
Yes,
congrats.
Sir Rafael, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. It's so nice that we started with you. So fluid in your discussion, in your responses, and also the judges were so very precise in their questions. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you for that, Sir Rafael, and please stay with us up to the last
Yes.
presenter later this afternoon.